Today, first lecture would be delivered by, we have with us Dr. ABID SULTAN. He is assistant professor cum junior scientist in School of Hortibusiness, Advanced ESDP. And Sar is also alumni of Islamic University of Science and Technology, and he has done MBA there. So I'm really very happy that he accepted our invitation. And this lecture is going to be very interesting because it's on detailed project report preparation. See, we work so hard, then it's it all depends upon that how we put the things and how to grab that opportunity to get funding and all for establishment of any industry or for project also. So sir will be discussing. Sir, thank you so much, please.
Thank you, sir. Very good morning to all of you. Rather a very chilling morning to all of you, and it has been very cold, and despite that you make it with high enthusiasm you are here. So I will be deliberating upon that the agriculture wastes and how they can be converted into the wealth. Though the technology part I won't be talking about, because over the time the valorization has will be taken up by the various experts. They must be traveling, and some have already interacted with you. So the basic funda is, why should we talk about the agriculture waste? Now you tell me, why should we talk about the wastes? Environmental hazards, number one.
And basically 5% has a potential that we can take forward to something.
Well, perfect.
So I think that is also one of the
Yes, that is also one of the reasons. And the most probably one is that there have been certain success stories as well, and those success stories have become a benchmark for us, and because of which we are trying to see that if they can do, we can also, or if they created some path, we can travel on that path. That makes the journey over easy. But the prominent story started with the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. When started, one of the component was there, that how the sustainable agriculture or sustainable consumption, sustainable production, these words came into the existence, and all these connotations, whether it's a sustainable consumption, sustainable production, or sustainable agriculture, sustainable manufacturing, they all are converging to one point, that the efficiency and effectiveness has to be ensured in all the activities that we are doing in our economic sectors, whether it's agriculture, it's manufacturing, or it's in the services sector.
We are actually talking about that how the minimization of the waste should be there. But then certain people say that if the minimization is one part, okay, the minimization of the waste in the developing countries is very high, because the advanced developments in technology, the advances in the research, the advances in the market connect also has been very good. But when it comes to the developing countries like we, or the emerging economies like India and all the part, it is still a big problem. Okay? So the big problem solve करने के लिए people say, why cannot we have, we can develop the entrepreneurial part in it. Okay? So जब हम economies को देख रहे हैं, currently we can have a broad classification of economies into three parts, three classification can be here. The first one, we have the innovation-driven economies. These are those economies where R&D is very high. Okay? Where knowledge creation, technology development, advancement
is too much high. Okay? And most of the developed countries, they fall under this area. Then we have the second category, which are efficiency-driven. Efficiency-driven, they focus mostly on the efficient production processes. They mostly focus on the quality and technology adoptions. Okay? And most of your South Asian countries fall under this category. Then there is a third one, where the emerging economies or the developing economies come. They are called as factor-driven economies. They are those economies where the resources are very high, the factor endowments, the availability of the resource is very high, and there is not only in terms of the natural resource, but also in terms of the capital resource, social capital resource, in terms of the demographic development. So ये जो इकोनॉमीज है, इनका एक कैरेक्टर फीचर ये है कि हमारे पास ये अनस्किल्ड लेबर इन इकोनॉमीज में बहुत होते हैं, ठीक है. देन द सेकंड पार्ट, इनके पास बड़े नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज होते हैं, और उन नेचुरल रिसोर्स की एक्सप्लॉइटेशन होती है फॉर मेकिंग द मनी आउट ऑफ द दोज अवेलेबल रिसोर्सेज. And emerging economies mostly fall under this category. Now when we are talking about the our agriculture waste, ठीक है? Now there are certain factors wherever you are discussing some topic or something, there is some context behind it. And the first context that we are talking about is that when there is an exponential growth in the population, that means there is an exponential growth also in your consumption. Then there will be also an exponential growth in the production process also. Because production has to match with the consumption, only then we can survive. जब हम एग्रीकल्चर की बात कर रहे हैं, our population, India has a population of around 140 crore. ठीक है? So when 140 crore people are supposed to be fed, or when they are using the things, there is a high possibility of generation of the waste. Okay? This is one. The second point is, as the system of population is increasing and as the system of the family structure is increasing, the nuclear families are coming into the scene, the waste point is going high. Okay? Then globally अगर आप देखोगे 1.3 billion tons of agriculture waste are produced annually. This is only the agricultural waste, but then there is also the solid waste, जो हमारे household से, industry से, बाकी जगह से आता है. That is around 2 billion tons. This global scenario है, out of which 470 million tons are only the crop residues. This is one scenario. The second scenario is when you come to the India. In India, we are having around 500 million tons of agriculture waste produced annually, and out of that, in addition to this, there is around 150,000 metric tons of solid waste that is generated in India. This in Kashmir, it's around 3,600 TDPs, that is tons per day. 3,600 tons per day. So this much of waste is getting generated per day, and it has three things. Number one, we have a problem of disposal. Number second, it creates a nonsense. Okay? There is always the littering of the waste on the roads. The third part is that you need to somehow transform the wealth lost through these wastes into the money, और जिसको आप circular economy का title भी दिया गया है. So we want this money should come back into the scene. So how we can do that? That we have been talking in this. We will be talking about these things in our next 5 days. देखो जितना भी एग्रीकल्चर वेस्ट हमारे पास आ रहा है या जितना भी वेस्ट आपको, देयर आर 6 prominent ways by which we can dispose it off. Number one is you can have the biogas plants. This is the first, जो आप काफी जो हमारी इमर्जिंग इकोनॉमीज है ना, जैसे जो इंडिया है, इंडिया के रूरल साइड्स है ना, इसमें बहुत इसको एडवोकेट किया जा रहा है कि जो आपका वेस्ट है एग्रीकल्चर वेस्ट, इसको बायोगैस में कन्वर्ट करके तो आप इसको डेवलप करो. ठीक है, ये एक फर्स्ट ये है. दूसरा जो है ना, दैट इज अ सपोर्ट स्ट्रक्चर. जब हम सपोर्ट स्ट्रक्चर की बात कर रहे हैं, जो हमारे क्रॉस सेक्टर्स हैं, जैसे किसी का वेस्ट निकला वो अगले इंडस्ट्री के लिए इनपुट बन गया. ठीक है, सो क्रॉस सेक्टोरियल यूजेज ऑफ द वेस्ट कैन बी हियर. जैसे आप जिसको नॉर्मली बोलते हैं ना, वेस्ट टू वेल्थ. जैसे आप हमारे यहाँ भी काफी एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं, दे आर डूइंग इट. जैसे पर्टिकुलर नंबर वन दैट इज from fisheries, that is using those animal bones and making small artifacts out of it. So this is what they are trying to do. The third part is upcycling entrepreneurship. This is coming hugely now. That means the wastes are being used, converted into some valuable products or utility-based products which are sold then into the market, and again the money flow or the money generation takes place. ठीक है, रिसेंटली आपका जो हमारा श्रीनगर का नहीं, कुलगाम से वो एक बंदा था, उसका काफी वो स्टोरी पिक हुई थी, तो वो कैसे स्क्रैप का वो बिजनेस करके वो ग्रो हुआ है. ठीक है, बट स्क्रैप कलेक्ट करना इज अ वन पार्ट, बट वी आर इंटरेस्टेड इन दैट हाउ दिस स्क्रैप इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू द फाइनल एंड यूजेबल प्रोडक्ट फॉर्म. The third part is जो आपका एग्रो पार्क्स होते हैं, जहाँ पे आपके डंपिंग यार्ड्स को कन्वर्ट करके फिर एक एग्रो टूरिज्म बेसिक पार्क है, इको टूरिज्म बेसिक पार्क या उससे फिर मनी जनरेशन का वो इवेलुएट करते हैं. प्रोमिनेंटली आई रिमेंबर देयर आर 2 in state in our state. One is in the Ganderbal area, one is in the Baramulla area, which is also called as eco parks के नाम से इनको जाना जाता है. They are actually having the dumping sites and they are now converted into that eco parks. Then we have the environmental biorefineries, जहाँ पे वेस्ट को कन्वर्ट किया जाता है बायोफ्यूल्स में. ठीक है, a lot of research is being carried on this domain, ठीक है, still it is going on, ठीक है, where will it be ending, I don't have any, अभी ऐसा कुछ हमें पता नहीं है, but हाँ, this is evolving, and not only as that the resources are being used, but also as that the alternate fuel system is being generated through this. Then the next one is that agriculture cooperatives, they are again using these wastes and then collecting them and then using for the fruitful purpose. But जब हम एग्री इनकी बात कर रहे हैं, एग्री वेस्ट की बात कर रहे हैं ना, देयर आर सर्टेन points of attraction for you because you people are maybe from agriculture or from other allied domains. So you can think of that how I can use this as an my source of entrepreneurship or my source of developing and sources of earning or livelihood. The first one is that ये जो waste valorization है, जो conversion of it into some good form, ठीक है, and then using that good form, ठीक है, again it has a huge market coming up, ठीक है, and people are using it. High-end products are not being made, but yes, those products which have a daily utility in our lives, they are made out of it and they are very helpful. Okay? The second one is that the organic farming and certification, that is coming up hugely because there is a lot of thrust on currently that the organic farming has to be there, the organic certification has to be. The organic farming require primarily the fertilizer or जो भी plant growth nutrients चाहिए, they are relying on the vermicompost. Now the vermicompost can offer a great source of entrepreneurship using these agricultural wastes. Then the third part is that you people are also becoming the environmental conscious. How many of you are actually the environmental conscious? One is on paper, one is you are actually practicing it. So what are you practicing on being an environmentally conscious? Stephen, आपने हाथ खड़ा है?
So we make sure that we spread the litter wherever we see it, or simply in our homes turning off lights unnecessarily when they are not required. These are the small things that we can contribute at an individual level towards for saving the environment at an individual level. We should practice.
When we are talking about the consciousness, there are two fronts actually. One is the responsible behavior. The another one is actually practicing it. Okay? So when you are switching off the light, you are conserving and you are reflecting a behavioral part. But when you are saying the environmentally consciousness, and environmental consciousness is that, say for example, we are talking about the recyclable packaging. Okay? So that thing, paperless, okay? That is an environmentally consciousness that is coming up, and there is a huge movement behind it that this thing should happen. And based on this, they said that environmental preservation has to be done. Now, environmental preservation के लिए the waste has to be properly addressed. That's why the SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, talks specifically about that, how the waste management should take place. ठीक है? Because they don't want only कि हाँ एक सोच है. There was some criticism to one of the leading bank who were talking about the environmental preservation. ठीक है? And they were criticized because they were saying कि आपके ATMs में 24 घंटे AC चल रहा है, ठीक है? And then you are printing those ATM slips and then you are saying we are environmental friendly bank. ठीक है? So lot of things need to be actually practically done on the ground also. Then the technological advancement. ठीक है? एक technology is highly needed when you are dealing with the wastes. Why? Because the contamination is high, the scatteredness of the waste is high, okay? And then the conversion of waste into the final product, it cannot be done through the normal process, okay? And that needs to be taken into consideration. So that's why the technology advancement should be very high. And the last one is agro waste has been widely researched now. It is being highly researched. Congratulations to our scientists that they envision that the waste valorization should be talked about. Okay? So that is creating a thrust again on thinking of that of the agricultural waste needs to be taken care of. Okay? अब जहाँ तक तो आपको स्टोरी समझ आ रही है, but I want to ask you one thing. If I tell you that we want to start as a team, all of us, ठीक है? As a team, we'll be starting enterprise on agricultural waste. Tell me one first problem that you will locate.
So,
Okay.
segregation of
Second.
ऐसा कौन सा वेस्ट है जो हम यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं ताकि हम मैक्सिमम बेनिफिट्स उससे ले
यही वाले एनवायरमेंटल कॉन्शियस है, ये वाले नहीं. The biggest problem in the agriculture waste is the collection. Fragmented farms, okay? And then the farmers have no consideration for this. Okay? So developing a business model where there will be integration of the farmers in collection, then what she was saying in segregation, then what she was saying in identifying what can be done with these wastes. Okay? So this is a big task. Okay? But though it's not the domain of my current talk, I will be talking in detail that how we will be addressing these issues. But remember, when tomorrow, if some of you want to turn up into an agri-based entrepreneurship business, you need to talk of these things, that how the collection will be there, how the disposal will be there, how the segregation will be there. Okay? Though I will be talking the component wise. Now, जब भी हम business की बात कर रहे हैं, business cannot be done in an year. ठीक है, हवा में नहीं हो सकता है. जो आपके देखो, most of the time, particularly happens with the research scholars, ठीक है, they have all the understanding what needs to be done with our research, what needs to be done with this. But once they start writing it on a piece of paper, they don't write more than one paragraph. ठीक है, so what is in your mind, it needs to be put into the form जो एक रीडेबल में हो, अंडरस्टैंडेबल में हो और लोगों को समझ आए. ठीक है, उसी को हम बोलते हैं that is called as a DPR. It is a detailed project report which will reflect every aspect of the thing that is pertaining to your business. It's a sort of a blueprint. It's a sort of a, जैसे हम घर बनाते हैं ना, तो घर का एक आर्किटेक्ट मैप बनाता है. ठीक है, तो उस मैप के हिसाब से बिल्डिंग बनती है. ठीक है, that map has everything in detail. So similarly, your DPR has everything in detail. If it is correct, the business propensity of a business to be successful is very high. Okay? If it is poor, then there is a propensity that business may fail. Okay? So this needs to be drafted very carefully. Now, when we are talking about the DPRs, there are three perspectives that are attached with the DPR. First perspective is as an entrepreneur. Because if I am conceiving an idea, it's me who understand all the things that are needed in it. Okay? So the conceiving person see from his perspective, whether it has been drafted by his perspective. The second is a marketing perspective. Okay? The marketing perspective finally talks about when the product will come into the market, which market, to which customers, in which market segment, in which market channel, at what price. So that is a marketing perspective. And the last one is an investor perspective. How I will be fetching the investment for business. Now all these perspectives will vary as per how, at what stage you are, number one, and in which direction you are going. For example, when you are establishing a business and you are not seeking anyone from the investment side. So the entrepreneurial perspective has to be very clear. Because it is you who is deciding what I am going to do, how I am going to do, and when I am going to do. Okay? So that clarity should be there. The second part, if you have an established business, now you want to expand, so your DPR should be more about the marketing based perspective. Because we are talking about the markets, which segments, which positioning, which brand, okay? At what price, in which market, okay? Local, regional, overseas, or in the global. So that perspective has to be very clear. And the next one, that if you are expanding and then you are looking for the investors who will invest in your money, and you have a financial constraint and you want to remove that constraint by getting funds from the outside. Okay? So at that time, the investor's perspective has to be very strongly reflected in your DPR. Yahan tak clear? Now, there is no standard format in any book as of now where we say, okay, this is a DPR, it will be followed everywhere. There is no, as such, exclusively that this is a thing that will be. Different organizations use different types of formats to explain their detailed project report. And there is no coherence, there is no consensus on the thing that how this has to be. But people have developed one consensus that the certain things has to be there. Okay? And certain fundamental things, whether it's a DPR from a corporate, it's a DPR for MNC, it's a DPR from the government, it is DPR from the local entrepreneur or a regional entrepreneur or the national level entrepreneur, these fundamental things should be essentially be present in every DPR, maybe under different headings, but they should be present. The first thing that should be there is an introductory page. This is the first page, okay, that introduces your idea, your business to some third person. Now, what should be in your business first page? Number one, the name you have, ठीक है? तो आप कुछ चीजें ना साइमल्टेनियसली करेंगे। मैं बिलीव कि आपको ना वो पेन और पेपर दिया गया है, तो लिखते जाओ, ठीक है? What will be the name of your business? First, the second one कि आपका एड्रेस क्या होगा, ठीक है? Where your business, where you are located. Then nature of the business. Then आपका financial needs क्या है and statement of confidentiality of the report. These are the first page of your DPR which should be present. Now the first page is a face is an index of the mind. Okay? So however your faces appear will tell you कि what is going on in your mind. So this page has to be very crisp. What is your name? There is no problem in it. What is your address? There is no problem in it. But when you come to the nature of the business, ये बड़ा सोचने वाला है, ठीक है? कि मेरा business का nature क्या है? Is it a small, micro, medium or large? Number one. Is it a start? Is it a growth? Is it expansion? ठीक है? Is it a diversification? ठीक है? So this has to be very clear with you. And the last one, the confidentiality of report, that you have not concealed anything, and you have been very true and honest in whatever has been quoted in your report. This is the first page. Then the second page is your executive summary. Okay? This is very crucial. Why? Number one, when you are going for a registration of your DPRs or your entrepreneurship business, or for market expansion or for the investment purpose, the first thing whoever is evaluating, he is not going to read the 30 pages for you. The first thing he will try to read that whether this thing fits in my perspective or not. So he will read your executive summary. Okay? You all are the part and parcel of this course. Okay? तो आपको पता है कि masters में you submit the thesis. Before the submission of the thesis जो आपकी report है, तो उसके पहले या तो abstract होता है या तो executive summary होती है. So that executive summary defines everything to the reader, that what is in this thesis or what is in this report. Similarly with the DPRs, that it explains everything to your reader or to investor or to a marketing firm or to some other funding agency, that what this report is all about. Now this must not be about the 4 to 5 pages, it is just 2 to 3 pages. Maximum 3 pages. Okay? 2 pages otherwise this is sufficient for it. Okay? The first thing that your report should include is that what is the business concept model that you are advocating. So in our case, we are talking about the agricultural waste. Now tell me, if I write in my DPR about only agricultural waste, what will be my flaw? That's a biodegradable. उसमें कोई इशू नहीं है. Biodegradable in other sense कि हाँ ये भी perishable है. तो अगर आपने जल्दी से नहीं किया तो it becomes more problematic. There is a limit ना जहाँ तक आप इसको use कर सकते हो. ठीक है? Once it is rotten, there is a then least chance to be used. In valuable products which humans can use, but in a manual part that can be done. Then
collaboration with the farmers.
Collaboration with the farmers. Okay. This is one. Business has 3 parts. One, there is an input. Second, there is a process. Third, there is an output. The input is the most essential part. क्योंकि जब तक चीज raw material आया गया नहीं, process कुछ नहीं होगा, product कुछ नहीं बनेगा.